Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. Now, I've had people, they've been asking me, Real Kens, why you haven't really spoke about the situation that's going on with Memphis? You know, in Memphis, rather. You know, I think that it's a sad situation, just as everybody else would presumably think. But I don't really know a lot about Memphis. I've never been to Memphis. So actually, I don't know anything about Memphis. But I do understand that there's a street war going on. And the sad part about it, this is happening almost everywhere. It's just magnified because you're dealing with actual celebrities that, several, people know in the hip hop industry. But this goes on so much that it's really not uncommon. You have a situation in which CMG, which is Yo Gotti, allegedly has something to do with the demise of Young Dolph, paper route. What I'm finding is, and again, that's allegedly, a lot of people are saying this and saying that, he has something to do with it. That's why the brother, Big Jook, was recently, untimely demise, just recently took place. And it just seems to me as though it's a never-ending game. Young Dolph was really, really loved in Memphis. And it appears that in them streets of Memphis, man, they relentless. They just not going to stop. So you took one of ours, now we're going to take one of yours. Okay, you took one of ours. On the flip side, now we're going to take another one of yours. And it's going to be one of those situations that is not going to stop until the casket drops. That's just my take on it. Now you look at Big Jook. People say, oh, well, why would he come to Memphis? He know that, Dolph's people's trying to ride on him, allegedly. He know paper route. My thing is this. You can have all the money in the world. But it's no place like home. Now I understand Boosie said, well, most people, most rappers, or, most people in the streets, they get gunned down in their own hoods, in their own city where they, born and raised. And that's true. That's true. But when you think about it, if you take a situation like Big Jook, Gotti, you born and raised in Memphis. Okay, you blow up in the music game. You got millions. You have success. But you leave the city of Memphis. You leave the state of Tennessee. Why? Because of everything that has endured in the streets. If I stay here, either I'm going to get killed or I'm going to end up in prison somewhere. So I'm going to go on to, bigger and better places. In your mind, that's what you're thinking. But I'd imagine that even knowing that how dangerous it is at home, how dangerous some streets are, man, you want to be back at home. That's why you see so many rappers that go back to the hood. And everybody's like, well, what is he doing in the hood? These are people that you grew up with. You got friends that you spent the night with. They spent the night with you. They mother fed you. Your mother fed them. Just all the memories, the corner stores, the parks, the trap, the corners, whatever you did coming up, pee-wee football, all that stuff. These memories are engulfed in your mind, so it's just like, yeah, I'm over here in a different state in the hills. I got a few of my people with me. But now we got to move differently. So the things that we once did, coming up or what have you, they wasn't fun no more. We couldn't do those things to. We couldn't, continue to do those things. So you find that people end up going back home because that's where they most comfortable at. I don't care if you worth $100 million. Yeah, it's easy to say, yeah, man, why would I go back to the projects? Why would I go back to the hood? Nah, man, I'm going to go back to where I feel comfortable. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. Because, when you make a change in your life, people, places, and things that you have to change. But at the same time, I do understand, while I don't agree with it, I do understand why people do go back. So you look at a situation like Big Jook, okay, he goes to the funeral, then he goes to the repast. Supposedly, Gotti was at the funeral, but he leaves, gets on a plane, and goes back to wherever he lives at. So I've heard people say, oh, man, Gotti should have protected his brother. He should have made sure that he had security. He should have made... Listen, man, you can't protect... he's a grown man. I'm sure that Gotti tried to tell him, but you got to remember, keep one thing in mind. Big Jook's the older brother. It's only so much that Gotti can really tell him. I'm sure that he told him, bruh, let's just go to the funeral. After the funeral, jump on this jet, this private jet we got, and be out, man. But Big Jook, according to, what I'm hearing or whatever, he had been in Memphis for a couple of days, going to car shows and just been out and about. How can he not? Was he supposed to stay in a hotel room hidden? That's his home. That's what he knows. So he wants to do the things and participate in the festivities and what have you that they're having in the great city of Memphis. But at the same time, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You know that even if you didn't have anything to do with the Young Dolph situation, people feel as though you did have something to do with it. So you can't just be walking around in the streets like that because, you got a target on your back. Evidently, Jook say, man, I'm going home, man. And when I go home, I'm going to kick it. And whatever happens, happens. I'm not trying to be surrounded around no police. Or have police surrounded around me. Or a bunch of security. I got my mans with me. I got my own protection. And we just going to ride it out. We going to thug it out. And as a result, it's the situation that unfortunately took place. I've never seen so many people celebrating. See people online, and it's like it's a party when they found out Big Jook got killed. Long live Dolph. That's what you're hearing. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm very careful to how I speak and what I say because, again, I know nothing about Memphis. I've never been to Memphis. I really don't know too much about that situation. I really wasn't even going to speak on the matter, to be honest. But it's just really unfortunate, and it really makes me wonder, what's Gotti going to do at this point? What is he going to do with, what is Gotti going to do now? Obviously, if your brother is killed, and that's your man's, like that's your guy, you ready to do whatever. You got all the money in the world, worth $100 million or more. So money's definitely not an issue for you. But Gotti's a very smart individual. You don't get that far without having brains. He understands that there's been a magnifying glass on him. They've been watching him very, very closely. He understands that. He understands that the way that he's been moving, he has to continue to move that way. And he might need to tighten it up a little bit more because as much as he wants to get back, how's he going to get back? How can you possibly get back when you know the feds is already watching you? Who can you trust? Obviously, he's not going to go do it. If he were to do something like that, guess what? He's going to have to go get somebody else to do it. So if he goes and gets somebody else to do it, what happens when that individual gets hemmed up or what have you? Now they sweeten the feds, sweeten the pot, sweeten the deal. Hey, listen, man, we really don't even want you, man. Give us Gotti. Otherwise, man, you got a life sentence. Who can he trust that's going to do a life sentence for him? I can't think of nobody. But it's a dangerous situation for him, because when he comes into town, who's to say he's not going to be next? Now I hear people say, oh, well, they could have got Gotti if they wanted to, but they wasn't really after Gotti like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not from Memphis. I don't really know the politics. I don't know. If Gotti just went to the funeral and he had actual police around him, escorting him there, and he left, how could you have possibly got him? Were you going to shoot him in front of the actual police? Big Jook didn't have police around him. And he wasn't at the funeral. It was at the repast. So it's two, different situations, scenarios. But again, in my opinion, I believe that Gotti probably tried to tell his brother, come on, bro, we moving different now, man. We can't just be in Memphis like that. Big Jook, the big brother, come on, bro. Born and raised, we supposed to keep running from our roots. It is what it is, man. We see what ultimately happened. Gotti made the best decisions. I just really feel that being around Gotti at this point is just a dangerous situation. It's very dangerous. Because anytime something happens, guess what they're going to say? Gotti has something to do with it. And when I say anytime something happens, meaning something happens to, DOS people, paper route, But on the flip side, something happens to anybody affiliated with CMG, paper route has something to do with it. That's what they gonna say. The streets. Streets definitely talk. So, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's just an ongoing thing. It's the pursuit of Gotti seems to be relentless. Think about this. You from a hometown and you make it. You move from that hometown because it's unsafe for you to actually live in that hometown. But think about this. How would you feel knowing that you really can't even come back home? And when you do come back home, it's like you have to sneak in and sneak out of town. Can't really do no shows there. You can't do, public appearances. One would imagine. So how would you feel? Your people are still there. Now, Gotti's mother still lives there. I know people are like, well, why don't he get his mother out of there? I'm quite sure she just doesn't want to go. I'm quite sure that Gotti has told his mom, come on, mom, I need to get you out of here, man. The streets, man, this is not how the streets played. Mothers, she doesn't want to leave her home. Now, is it safe for her? I'd say not. Now, I'd hope that they wouldn't put her into this situation. But the streets, man, as I always say, man, it's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. We're going to make you come out. Whack 100 say, sometimes, man, they're going to make you come out. Okay, we can't find you. You don't want to come out? Here, we're going to get somebody close to you then. We're going to get your brother. We're going to get your sister. We're going to get your uncle, your auntie. Maybe your best friend. Maybe even your mom's. Dangerous situation. Like I said, anybody around Gotti, to me, just in danger. Angela Simmons, I'm quite sure that her dad has probably told her, hey, listen, man, you need to leave that situation alone. But at some point, man, you got to quit talking because she's a grown woman. He can't really control and tell her what to do. But it's a dangerous game, a dangerous situation, man. Because this is far from over. This is far from over. Think about Big Jook's funeral. Where's that going to be held at? They're going to have it in Memphis? Quite sure Gotti's going to go to the funeral. Mother's definitely going to go to the funeral. Gotti's people's going to go to the funeral. You got the police is going to be there. The community is going to be there. You got the ops. Some of them will probably be there. Or they're going to be nearby. What happens then? Will it be another shooting at the next repast? At the actual funeral? Street life, man, ain't no joke, man. And you all are actually having an opportunity to see what's going on. And again, this is not just Memphis. It's just Memphis is being magnified right now. This is everywhere, man. This is everywhere. That's why I genuinely admire Birdman and Master P, man. Kudos, shout out to Birdman and Master P. And the reason I say that is because when you see situations like this, to where guys were initially friends, but for whatever reason, rather, something happened, and now you turn to enemies to where you want each other dead. Or you look at the Death Row and Bad Boy situation back in the 90s with Tupac and Biggie Smalls. And I've always felt like it was fueled by Tupac and Death Row. Yeah, I feel like Puffy did some shady, some shady business, some shady dealings. But I don't really think Biggie really was with that. He was just kind of thrown into the fire. But look what happened, man. 2 great rappers dead. Memphis. Dolph, dead. Somebody that went through and helped the community, helped the hood, paid people's rent, gave to people. A person that was really, really an asset on this earth, dead. Gotti's still alive, but the other owner, the half owner of CMG, Big Juke, dead. Gets dangerous, man. Now, when you look at the No Limit and Cash Money situation, I was listening to Terrence Gangsta Williams. Shout out to Terrence Gangsta Williams. And I was listening to a few of his stories, and according to him, it was really, really a situation that was serious between the 2 labels. Now, you never really hear Birdman or Master P speak on it, other than, man, we was young back then. It really, really wasn't no beef or whatever. And they leave it at that. But Terrence Gangsta Williams kind of breaks it down. Nah, this was serious, man. One of our people, some of our people died. Some of their people died. And they more so talked about projects. C.E.O, which is Master P's from. Magnolia, which, Birdman them's from. Terrence Gangsta Williams. So it was more so of a war between 2 projects. But then you had Master P, they was up and coming. Then you had Cash Money, they was up and coming. So you got No Limit and you got Cash Money Records. You got Magnolia projects, you got C.E.O projects. Got these artists over here at Cash Money, these artists over here at No Limit. Y'all can't work with them because I don't see eye to eye with the CEO. And vice versa. I really admire them too because they were very, in the same vicinity. And you never really hear about anything happening between the 2 labels. They exchanged a couple jabs on wax or whatever. Now, some things probably happened like before the 2 labels blew up in the streets. You see what I'm saying? But with that being said, you never heard of anything major happening between the 2 labels, man. And I got all the respect in the world for both of those guys. Because when you think about it, Cash Money already had money in the streets. They independent. They were selling records independent. I'm talking 200,000-300,000 records every time they drop in the streets. Well, P already had bread. He blew before they did. So once he really, really got the bag, he could have, he had way more money than them. They had that street money. But P had that music money, at corporate money. I'm quite sure he very easily could have, made a couple things shake, but he didn't do it. And Cash Money, they came along, they blew up, and then, now we on even playing grounds. We got just as much money as you, P. Or close to it. They didn't do it. So while the 2 labels never really worked together, they didn't go to war. And I wish more people, more individuals would react the way that Master P and Birdman reacted. Okay, we might not work together. We're going to get more money working together. But if you don't want to work together, cool. You stay over here, we stay over there. With all this shooting and killing it's too much, man. It's too much. And our youth These young guys, they just so misled. They ready to just dive. They ready to dive off the building, swan dive off the building, head first. For their favorite rapper. They want to show everybody that, they would whatever. It's sad, man. Because all you're going to get at the end of the day is a lot of people dead and a lot of people doing life sentences in the penitentiary. That's what's going to come about this. You got a lot of talent, man. All these guys got talent, man. But it's been so much bloodshed, there's no way that the two labels can come together and say, listen, man, let's squash all of this. And it's too much. Too much has happened. But they say, once it's up, it's stuck. It's definitely a situation that fits that saying. It's definitely up, and I believe it's definitely stuck. They ain't trying to work together at this point. Now, y'all took our hero, man. This is the one. Y'all took him right here. Y'all took him. So guess what? Until we get him, ain't nothing gonna stop. As I mentioned previously, it's not gonna stop till the casket drops. That's what you get out there in them streets, man. That's definitely what you get out there in them streets, man. Ain't no rules. And I'd be very concerned if I was Gotti, which I'm sure that he is. My mom live in this town, in this city. My name is good, don't get me wrong, but my name is also Mud. I know people want me dead. So who's to say, you know what, man, we started playing cat and mouse with this dude, man. We know his mama stay at. Go and light it up. And I hope and pray nothing ever happens like that. And I don't think really that it will, because at this point, if something like that was going to happen, I'm quite sure that they could have made that happen if, they so desired. Dangerous game, man. So you want to be in this rap game? Understand that a lot of this beef that you're seeing, it comes along with it. Now, you're not going to see it initially because, well, you may not see it initially because you're still up and coming. But once you actually start to blow up, a lot comes with that. That's just like the YouTubers. You got YouTubers going at each other and talking crazy about each other. But it's only going to be a situation to where, like, I'm going to give you a perfect example. I've had my channel for 9 months. If I go at somebody that has 150,000 subscribers, they're going to pay me no mind. Why? What do they get out of responding to me with 2,300 subscribers? Nothing. I go at that same individual and they got 150,000 subscribers, but I got just as many subscribers. Well, now they're going to respond. Because they feel like, okay, I'm on their level. Same thing with these streets, man. It's rap game. You small, it's kind of like you get a somewhat of a pass. But the larger that you get, the more recognition and people start to understand and know who you are, a lot more hate and a lot more trouble is definitely going to come your way, man. So if you want to jump in this music industry, just understand that all this comes with it, man. And all that money and chains, and if you even get to that point, and cars don't do you no good in a hearse. Don't do you no good in that casket. You jumping in this street game, and you rapping about this street game, somebody gonna ask for you. They coming to see you. P said it a long time ago. When you say something about somebody on wax, you better be ready to die for it. That's why you never seen No Limit rap about people. You never seen Cash Money rap about people. Yeah, I may be talking to you, but I'm not gonna say your name. Dangerous game, man. Dangerous, dangerous game. Person that had all the money in the world is no longer with us. That money didn't mean nothing. They couldn't protect them when them goons ran up. All the money in the world. No longer with us. Gotta watch how you move, man. When success comes, you definitely have to watch how you move. Because they coming and they out there. And particularly in that situation where he allegedly had something to do with the, you know what I mean? They wasn't going to stop until they casket drop. Real Kids TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification so anytime I bring you this action in this heat, you're amongst the first to receive. For whatever reason, people are constantly getting at me, telling me, Real Kens, we didn't even know you were still going. I never get any of your notifications. I'm definitely subscribed. I'm definitely, I hit the notification bell, but I never get notified. I don't know what's going on. Only thing I can say is just keep checking back because I drop videos nearly every day. At least every other day. So that's how we doing it, man. Real Kens TV.